So when studying for anatomy and physiology, the one thing I realize is that it's either you know it or you don't know it. There isn't much shortcuts. However, there are like little things like mnemonics as well as other online resources on YouTube, for instance, that you could use to better yourself in anatomy and physiology. So for anatomy too, from the general gist of it, I understand it's more focused on urinary, digestive, reproductive system, things of that sort. So you're going to have to look over your textbook more. It's not like anatomy one where you can just look at your hand and then identify phalanges, bones within your phalanges and stuff like that. You're going to have to keep looking over your diagrams. What I usually do is I use something called Crash Course A&P on YouTube, as well as Khan Academy, to further solidify my understanding of the subject matter at hand. They may. Most PA students I know usually get their clinical hours from being EMT, medical assistant, or CNA, but I'm actually going all the way down to the RN route, and it's even more interesting because of the fact that I already have an EMT certification. I'm already working as an EMT, so who knows what they'll do.
This is a Manhattan bound.
Alright, you guys, just got out of my orgo lecture and my lab. I'm going to take a quick break for right now, and then I'll go back into the library and show you exactly like what I do to study every day and how I fit in all my assignments. It's actually a pretty good question, because I know a lot of people will tell you to like do some positive reinforcement of some type. Like for instance, one of my favorite ones I see on Instagram is where people will put like pieces of candy on each page, and as soon as they read it, they eat it. That's not gonna work for me, honestly. I would just eat the whole entire bag to begin with. But what I have been using, however, is the Pomodoro Technique. So what that is timed intervals of studying and breaking, and you cycle through that for X amount of time. Technique, I use a 50-minute studying time and a 10-minute breaking time. You can use whatever interval of studying you want to do. Honestly, I've seen 25 to 5, I've seen 45 to 15, I've seen odd numbers too. I don't just see like the 5-10 ratio kind of thing. Furthermore, what I would advise you to do is just finish your train of thought. So if you're going over a difficult concept and it has 4 parts, and you finish part 1 and part 2, just finish part 3 and part 4 at that same time, just so you can understand the concept fully, solidify it within your head, and then you don't have to come back and then reset yourself and try to understand it again. Just do everything one time, be done, and I'm sure you all will be okay. Another tip, don't make it harder for yourself than it actually needs to be. If you have a big test coming up and it's going to have 10 chapters on it, do chapter 1 one day, do chapter 2 another day. Be proactive with your studying. A lot of problems that most pre-meds have is that they procrastinate and then wait until the last 3 to 4 days to do everything. Don't make it harder for yourself. That's the key that I have for you all. Another way to not make it harder for yourself is your study environment. If you just set up a quiet area with little to no distractions around you, I'm sure you'll get work done. To do well and to keep myself motivated is just one big psych game for me. When I came back sophomore year, for instance, I would always write in my planner every single day, nothing less than a 385, 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 to the point where even if I wasn't naturally capable of getting a 385, I was going to get a 385 kind of thing. And another good tip is that study ahead of time. So for this semester, for instance, I have Anatomy and Physiology 1. as well as organic chemistry. I started studying for this stuff back in June. As soon as my research was over, I was already gung-ho, ready to study for these new classes that I had to take. Don't be afraid to study and don't be afraid to do little things here and there. For the most part, I was still relaxing in the summer. For each of those courses, I only put in like about 4 hours a week for each course. So it was still me being able to relax because I had no tests or anything to do, but nevertheless, I always made sure to prep myself for the next semester. Now it's getting dark outside, meaning I'm going to start blending in with my environment. But anyways, for those of you who may be saying, oh, Jay, you're kind of getting a little lazy with your advice now, it has been proven through multiple studies that practice questions of any sort is what top students did almost 3 times as much as their other peers who were getting lesser scores did. Take your top athlete from any sport. It doesn't matter. It could be Stephen Curry from basketball. It could be Lionel Messi from soccer. Take the best person that you could think of or your favorite player and think about what they do on a regular basis. Do you think they watch YouTube tutorials on how to do the stuff or like how their form should be whenever they're taking a shot or doing defense of some sort? No. They go out onto the court 90% of the time and practice what they need to be doing. And that could be applied to your studies. If you're sitting there just reading the textbook, yeah, you're going to kind of understand what you're supposed to be doing, but you won't truly understand what you're messing up at until you actually do practice problems. And I could personally attest to that because I will never be the smartest kid in any of my classes that I'm in. There will always be somebody else that's always going to be above me. However, the reason why I maintain my top status in most of my classes is just because I do a lot of practice problems. Some people only do like 10 practice problems within their homework. Me, I do 10 of my homework problems along with like 90 other questions in general throughout multiple different resources that I found online. So the good news about that last question is the fact that a lot of the prerequisites for my nursing program go hand in hand with a lot of the prerequisites for the PA schools I'm applying to. So first off, I already took General Bio 1 and 2, General Chem 1 and 2. Right now I'm in Organic Chemistry and A&P1. I will be taking A&P2 in Microbiology. And on the side, outside of the nursing track, I will also be taking Genetics as well as Physics 1 and a few other little higher level biology courses like Parasitology and Immunology maybe. Pretty much it. Any other courses that come up, like once I narrow down my list more, like I'll just tackle any other individual courses as needed. And also, just for everyone, word of advice, don't let anyone tell you can't do this track, no matter how difficult it may seem, as long as you put in the time and the effort, it is all possible. Don't let anybody tell you you're not capable of otherwise, because you always can perform and can achieve all these amazing goals that you have set for yourself. I don't care if you're going for PA, MD, DO, RN, NP, etc. You can do it as long as you put in the time and effort into it. I remember freshman year, had my back against the wall. Everyone was telling me you won't be able to do it. My GPA was saying it too. However, came back after sophomore year, went to a few health fairs and health schools, showed almost all of the PA schools that I was interested, my situation, my transcripts, my resume, and they all still said I'm a pretty good student, and as long as I keep up the improvements, I will be okay by the end of the day. No matter what happens, I will get into a PA school. No matter what obstacles may come forward to me, I will get into a PA school, and that is what you just have to tell yourself. Life is just a constant improvement game, and rather than focusing on any sort of competition, you must focus on yourself and become a better you than you were yesterday and the day before that and the day before that. And that will get you into PA school. So lesson by the end of the day is it's okay to screw up. You're a pre-med student, everyone screws up in general. However, what are you doing to improve yourself? That is the fundamental problem that you must solve, rather than sitting here just retaking courses. That's fine and all, but what are you doing to improve yourself for future reference? So the answer to that question is simply no, it's not necessarily a bad thing. If you're taking some low-level science courses like basic general bio, one gen chem or anything, however, it can be a little bit problematic whenever you do take higher-level science courses at a two-year college. Ideally, they want to see you grow and mature, so starting by taking the lower-level sciences at a community college, then higher-level sciences at a four-year institution is ideal. Guys, just remember that post-bac is always an option too. Ideally, if you can get into a master's program that teaches like the similar disciplines that PA school or med school would teach, that's also a good thing as well. So starting from the top, unless you have to sign up via the hospital to shadow these surgeons slash dentists that you want to shadow, they don't need to know your GPA. They don't really care what your GPA is. They're just interested in the fact that you're interested in what they're doing. And if I'm going to be completely real with you, my GPA was lower than that at one point in time. However, you see, like, if you watch my earlier snaps, obviously you would know that my GPA is now at around 3.0. So there is always definitely a comeback opportunity for you. So, and plus I didn't even have any excuses to sit there and say, like, you can at least say you took care of your grandparents. I don't have that excuse. I was just partying. I was just doing everything but studying, but I'm still gunning for my goals, and you should do the same. So as for the MCAT portion of your question, it would be beneficial to look up YouTube videos on how to set up a study schedule, how to study itself, as well as what resources you should be using. As for your friends being truthful, quote unquote, as you wrote it in the thing, they're kind of being truthful. Yeah, they're showing you a problem, but they're not giving you a solution. So I don't understand why they are addressing the problem. To me personally, real friends will give you a solution along with that problem. Like, they'll tell you, okay, you're messing up in school, but you could do X, Y, Z to be a better student and to increase your chances later. Me, for one, I personally don't know you. However, I feel as though positive information I could tell you is that your GPA is low, but just keep pushing through it. Like, you understand your reasons for messing up, so eliminate those reasons. Keep pushing through. Worst comes to worst, do a post-bac, as I said in the previous snaps. They don't care if you really know how to perform organic chemistry. They care more so if you can understand the rigors of what med school is actually like. Following what I'm about to say may sound a bit counterintuitive, but they don't really care, like, oh, if you can do a physics problem. They care more so about if you can handle the rigors of medical school. So definitely consider post-bac being an option for you. However, just make sure you try to push through your undergraduate first and see if you can get in on that first application cycle before you decide to do a post-bac. And even then, like, make sure you understand, like, what post-bacs would be ideal for your situation in particular. There are some enhancement post-bacs. There are some post-bacs that you can get further supplemental knowledge on that can prepare you for medical school and things of that sort. I believe that is it for questions, you guys. Thank you all for coming out here. It actually really means a lot to me that many of you stuck through this entire snap story. I know it's pretty long. I just downloaded a video for it. It's like about 25 plus minutes of my snaps and seeing my face. So I thank you, and I'm very flattered to those who actually stuck with it the whole entire way. And if you have any more questions, DM them to me on Instagram at streetwearmedical. Thank you, and have a wonderful night.